Alrighty, folks, I'm back. Hopefully, I'm loud and clear too, with the microphone being plugged in. Go and run and grab the book. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Going live on TikTok too. All right, here we go. Sense principles. Here we go again. Find ourselves in principle 52. Doubt. Check it out. Maybe some suitable substitutes for hard facts, but if there is, I have no idea what it can be. As J. Paul Getty, the richest man in America and author of How to Be Rich. Many people waste valuable time and precious resources wondering what other people are thinking, intending, or doing. Rather than just asking them for clarification, they make assumptions, usually assuming against themselves, and then make decisions based on those assumptions. Successful people, on the other hand, don't waste time assuming or wondering. They simply check it out. Bring if or to be okay to, or are you feeling? They are not afraid of rejection, so they ask. People always imagine the worst when they don't know what's true. What's the fundamental problem with assuming anything? That people are usually the most afraid of that which they don't know. Instead of checking into things, they assume facts that may not exist and build prejudices around those assumptions. Make bad decisions based on these assumptions, on rumors, or on other people's opinions. Consider the difference when you know all the facts, actual facts about a situation, person, problem, or opportunity. You can make decisions and take actions on the basis of what is real rather than what you are making. I remember a seminar I once conducted where one attendee, sitting in the back of the room, looked like he just didn't want to be there. Looked hostile and withdrawn, his arms crossed over his chest. He had what looked like a permanent scowl on his face and looked like he hated everything I had to say. I knew if I wasn't careful, I'd end up focusing on him and his apparent hostility to the detriment of everyone else in the room. You can imagine no speaker wants to hear that an audience member was forced to count by his boss, or that he's unhappy with the material, or that he dislikes the speaker himself. Given this participant's body language, it would have been easy to assume was the case. Instead, I checked it out. Approached him during the first break and said, I can't help but notice you don't face. Wondering if maybe the workshop's not working. Maybe you were sent by your boss against your will and you really don't want to be. Just really concerned. At that point, his entire demeanor shifted. He said, oh no, I'm loving everything you're saying. But I feel like I'm coming down with the flu. I want to stay home and miss it because I knew how good it would be. Taking every ounce of my concentration just to be. It's worth it because I'm getting so much out of it. If I hadn't asked, I could have ruined my whole day assuming the worst. How many times do you make assumptions, good or bad, without checking them out? You assume without checking when a special project is due that all parties will deliver on time. You assume without checking that what you're providing is what everybody needs. Without checking at the end of a meeting that everyone is clear on who is responsible for getting which action item done by which date. Imagine how much easier it would be. Instead, say, John, you're going to complete the report by next Friday, right? Mary, you're going to get a quote from the printer by Tuesday at 5, right? Usually hesitate the most when it might be bad news. Usually when we assume the worst that we don't want to check it out. Really afraid of what the answer might be. If I arrive home from work and my wife had a scowl on her face, it's easy to assume that she's mad at me. I could start walking around on tiptoes, thinking I've done something wrong and anticipating a blow up. Imagine how much better it would be for our relationship if I simply said, you don't look happy. What's going on? The moment you begin to check it out, two things happen. First, you find out the real facts. Really do something wrong. Get a nasty phone call from her sister that you don't know about. Second, you have the option to do something about it. Help her shift her mood if you know. It goes the same for things that might improve your quality of life. Perhaps you assume there's no way to get a ticket to the rock concert at this later date, or that you'll never be accepted into the arts program at the antique cafe that would look great in the dining room. So much simpler just to ask. Check it out. Using phrases such as, I'm wondering if, would it be okay if, how are you feeling? Is there a possibility of getting? What do I have to do in order to, and what would happen for you to be able to, and so on. Do you mean? Another way to check out assumptions is to use a technique I teach in my couples training sessions that can help improve communication in your relationship. I call it the do you mean technique. Let's say that my wife asked me to help her clean out the garage on Saturday. No, I say. Now my wife could assume Jack's mad at me. He doesn't care about my needs. He doesn't care about the car that no longer fits in the garage and so on. With the do you mean technique, she assumes nothing but asks what I'm really thinking instead. Jack, do you mean that you're not ever going to help me with this task? Do you want me to do it all by myself? No, I don't mean that. Do you mean that you would rather be doing something else? No, I don't mean that either. You mean that you're busy Saturday and you have something else planned that I don't know about? Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Sorry I hadn't told you yet. Slipped my mind. Sometimes people don't immediately tell the reasons behind their answers. Just say no. No explanation for their position. Men are more likely to respond like this, whereas women will often give you all kinds of reasons why their answer is no. Men more often will just give you the bottom line, not just the details. Asking do you mean gets you a lot more clarity so that you aren't left wondering what is really going on. Checking it out checking it out contributes to your success. Checking out your assumptions improves your communication, relationships, your quality of life, and most especially your success and productivity in the work. Start getting better results. Show up with parts missing. Don't make assumptions about what people are going to do that they didn't do. Whenever you have the inkling that Barbara's not going to finish that on time, you call Barbara. Check it out. W. Edwards Deming, brilliant systems expert who helped post-World War II Japan manufacture automobiles, electronics, and other goods better than almost any other planet, once said the first 15% of any project is the most important. It's where you need to get clear, gather data, check things out. For example, when you get into a business relationship, you determine in the beginning, in the first 15%, how you'll work together, how you'll resolve conflicts, what the exit strategy is if someone wants to, what the criteria are for determining if one of the people is not living up to his or her side of the bargain, and so on. Most of the conflicts that arise later in relationships are because people made erroneous assumptions without checking them out. They failed to get clear up front on their agreements. Space between the rules. Of course, the 15% rule also applies to any personal goal you might pursue as well. Remember best-selling author Tim Ferriss, who once won the National Kickboxing Championship with just 6 weeks of training? The story behind that story is that he didn't assume anything about the rules of kickboxing, but instead checked them out thoroughly. He learned from his research that if you threw your opponent out of the ring twice in one round, you won the match. Now, in kickboxing, most people think of kicking and boxing. Ferriss, on the other hand, was a wrestler by training. So he told his coach, don't teach me how to knock someone out, how to throw my opponent out of the ring while not getting knocked out myself. That's how he won the championship. He determined the difference between what the rules actually were and what people assume the rules were. In life, there are a lot of instances where there is space to maneuver between the rules. You don't ask and simply assume you can't accomplish something. It may be that you could have easily succeeded, though through some loophole or some other hidden fact that is revealed only when you research it. Check it out. That was Principle 52. When in doubt, check it out. And then next time, 53, practice uncommon appreciation. Folks, that should do it for Success Principles today. Please remember to support the show, likes, comments, shares, donations, Venmo Stormer Show. Please remember to follow if you're on TikTok. Please remember to subscribe on YouTube. Thank you for any and all support that this show should receive. And yes, I am the Stormer Show official, not the outdoor learning hoo-ha that has no content on YouTube. So make sure it's Stormer Show official or the exact same name as this channel if you should find me on YouTube. You'll know because my channel is the one with actual content. Nanya, and I hope you enjoyed this edition of Success Principles. If so, please remember to give back and support the show. Keep tight. Have a good night. I've been your host, Stormer Show, signing out and signing off. Thanks for watching.